After the threat of Native Americans ended in the western region of Pennsylvania, people and frontiersmen started journeying into the now safe lands. Two of these people are David and John Meade, where in the summer of 1787, during an exploration, they visited the valley of French Creek and then continued on to come back the following May with 7 others, but most settled in the Meadville area. The idea of manifest destiny, the belief that America was destined to spread from coast to coast, gave thought that the city at the junction of two waterways, the Allegheny and French Creek, was the best place of growth throughout the county. The first man to come to Franklin was George Power, who had come to erect the Fort Franklin in 1787, then left and came back to make his permanent home in 1790. Being a man with military connections and also willing to take on challenges along with being able to handle emergencies, all while being very humble, gave him what he needed to pick up on John Fraser's work with trade, seeing the opportunities of the land. He quickly picked up the native Seneca Indian language, which helped him open trade with the natives in the area as well. Due to build of stock of tradable goods, they used to trade the Indians for their fur and pelts, which sold good in Pittsburgh, starting a thriving trade between the three areas. Power was unmarried until December 30th, 1800, when he married Margaret Brownman, and they lived in his stone house at the corner of Elk and Elbow Street. His house was the pride of the town and was used as a hotel after he passed. The books and loggings found in his belongings hold accounts of his trading with the natives, which hardly ever stated that they went against their word, and was useful in the future due to it having different names of the natives he traded with. Power died April 2nd, 1845, at the age of 83, being well respected, also with his descendants living throughout Venanago County. Another early arrival at Franklin was Colonel Alexander McDowell in 1794. He was the surveyor of District No. 7. In 1796, he was appointed to the Justice of the Peace and discharged the functions of the magistrate from the county. Lastly, he was the first postmaker of Franklin and was father to the firstborn white child in Venango County, Thomas Skelly McDowell. He died at the age of 53 on January 4, 1816. His wife died at the age of 103 on September 25, 1865. In 1798, a trader named Edward Hale arrived in Franklin from Fayette and died at the age of 13. Captain George Fowler, an officer for the British, arrived to Franklin in 1797 as a Justice of the Peace. One of the first to arrive after Power was James G. Heron, sometimes called Captain Heron. He was appointed to the office of Associate Judge. He had been an officer in the Revolutionary War, and it's believed that he was here very soon after the town was laid out. Judge Heron died December 30th, 1809. Now, let's start with how some of the other townships were discovered. While Franklin was thriving, people started exploring the lands west of the Allegheny River. Signs of different settlements started showing up in the Scrubgrass Valley of French Creek, Oil Creek, Pithole, and Sugar Creek. In 1793-1794, James Scott and another scout from settlements on the Kiskiminitas River had started an exploration which led them to the Scrubgrass region they had found to be rich, which later, in the year of 1795, led James Scott, along with his neighbors, to move to the area. This sparked a movement of settlers from more Westland County to Scrubgrass, which also led to the settlement of the southern tip of Venango County. James Fierce, David Say, James Craig, and Samuel Jolly all came to Scrubgrass in a similar manner to James Scott. Soon after them came Moses Perry, William Crawford, Thomas Millard, and many others. In 1796, Thomas McKee, a surveyor, started a permanent settlement in Clinton Township. Other townships formed around this time are French Creek in 1806, Irwin in 1800, Sandy Creek in 1806, Victory in 1876, Mineral in 1870, Cannonville in 1833, Jackson in 1845, Oakland in 1841, Oil Creek in 1866, Cherry Tree in 1817, President in 1850, Plum in 1817, Rockland in 1817, Richland in 1806, Cranberry in 1830, Pine Grove in 1824, Allegheny in 1800, and Corn Planter in 1833. Different occupations were available in the city of Franklin. Adam Selders, a stonemason who used what didn't have to be mined, just found and carried. In 1801, Noah and John Ridgway started their boating business along the river. John Broadfoot was the first carpenter, and John Singleton built brick houses. John Witherup was the contractor for the first jail and courthouse, in which he did help them build but did no exploring for the material. Mr. Service was the first saddler. Ezra McCall, John Lufer, George Graysper, and Tubal McCain were all among the first blacksmiths.